It is Up in Your Blues Game, Part 5. And so up to this point, we talked about a lot of traditional sounding licks, right? And we decided that we were going to work on those because we wanted to be able to break away from just randomly playing the blues scale. There's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, there's there's a limit of how much you can play, right? Just using a minor pentatonic scale, the blues scale. But so we did stuff like this. I taught you 3 different shapes that are great for blues, right? Then we learned thirds and chord tones like this way. And then we learned about how we could play thirds and sevenths. And this gave us a lot of new sort of blues vocabulary that comes in handy. But today we're going to talk about another kind of tradition, and it's not blues tradition as much as it's going to be jazz tradition. Okay, we're going to learn how to use some jazz ideas in our blues to create a nice contrast. So basically, we sort of got shortchanged a little bit when we were learning guitar because teachers used to tell us that, okay, over A7, remember we're in A7 here, right? Over A7, we're going to play an A7 arpeggio. Over D7, we're going to play a D7 arpeggio. Over E7, we're going to play an E7 arpeggio. And we kind of learn that we're supposed to play the arpeggio of the chord we're playing over, right? Does that make sense? I hope it does. But that's not really fun for a jazz musician, okay? And it's really not the way they think so much. So, part of that thinking is okay, though, because, playing chord tones is an important part of making a nice solo, but it's not the only thing we can do. There's more fun, creative things that we can do. So, like when, for example, when I was in college studying music, Scott Henderson told me, he said, if the bass player is playing, the notes of an A7 chord as bass notes and the piano player is playing an A7, well, why do I have to play an A7 arpeggio? It's like everybody's doing the same thing. What's fun about that? That made a lot of sense to me. So in one old school way of doing this, of playing like other arpeggios over the chord we're playing over, is from like the 40s and the 50s, the way that musicians played back then. And what they did is that they would play other diatonic arpeggios over it. And there's a way of thinking about this. So you have to ask yourself, what key is A7 from? Do you know? Remember, dominant chords as in as in A7 or D7 or E7. These are 5 chords of other keys. So A7 is the 5 chord of D major. So that means that any arpeggio in the key of D major is going to technically work over that A7 chord one way or another. So as I was saying, one way that we can think about this is we can put an arpeggio on every chord tone. So A7, A, C sharp, E, G, A. So in this key, A7 would be the arpeggio, which is normal. That's what we were taught to do anyways. What about C sharp? So C sharp is going to be C sharp minor 7 flat 5 in this key, right? So now that's the 3rd, the 5th, the flat 7, and then the 9. So that gives us the sound of A9. Right? Next, the E minor 7 is going to be Now that's going to be what? The 5th, the flat 7, the 9th, and like a 4th, like a sus4. So we're playing like a sus4 sound here. Right? And the next one is going to be G major 7. That's like a big, gigantic 13 sus chord, like 8 13s like this. Now that's a big sophisticated sounding chord right there. So when we do that, we're going to get... It's nice, right? These are nice sounds. So next, we can do the same thing for D, right? The D7. Now, D7 is going to be the 5 chord of G major. Okay, so the same thing goes here. We can play D7, obviously. From the third is going to be F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Next is going to be A minor 7. And then the last is going to be C major 7. Right? These are all beautiful sounds for these dominant chords. Same thing for E too. All good sounds. But, you don't have a lot of time on E, so, it's fine to try it. But, I mean, you have a lot more time to play over the 1 chord and the 4 chord, all right? So, anyways, these are good choices, okay? So, what we have, but I'm going to give you another little traditional jazz thing that you should learn, and that's when we play these arpeggios, it's nice if we approach them chromatically. So, A7, chromatic, and then the root. C sharp, E minor 7, G major 7, keep going, A7, C sharp minor 7 flat 5. These are all nice ways like to play these, lines over the A7 chord. So look. And then for D2. All really nice sounds. Okay, so you have to practice it to get it under your fingers, or else they're never going to show up, right? So you have to spend a little time just like repeating it. It's not like really creative or beautiful or anything, but it's an important part of the process. So let's see if we can play over a blues using these. We're going to go like this. And for the 5 chord too. And D, maybe I'll go to the A minor for me. Let's see if we can play this, okay? Remember, you can get the PDF if you need to look at the PDF while you're practicing this. Okay, so here we go. Right, so it's too much. It's just way too much. It's not really musical, and it's not creating any contrast because it's just one thing. But this is a good way to practice. So let's think about ways that we can incorporate these things into like a solo. Now, A7 is not that exciting, so I'm just not going to think about it too much. But how about that C sharp minor 7 flat 5? I like this. E minor 7, we can do a similar thing. G major 7. So for like E7, we can certainly do that. It's kind of nice. D. It's just that F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So these are just some things. Of course, I'm going to play randomly because I can't really. I don't really compose my guitar solos. I just kind of do them. So let me see if I can put these in the solo in a nice way. Okay, so here I go. so there it is, right? That was cool. We took like some jazz ideas and we sort of mixed it in with our down home blues guitar solo, right? And that's sort of a one way that's going to separate you from a lot of other musicians. Now it takes a little work, but you can do it. If you need the PDF that will describe in better detail the theoretic aspect of this, and you can get the transcription for some of these licks, you go ahead and do that. That should help out a bit. And also, by doing that, that $5 sponsorship really helps me a lot because it helps me to, buy like microphones and, work on these videos. Okay, so I hope you'll do that. Anyway, so have a nice day and I'll see you in the next one. All right, goodbye.